Hello, this is Dr. Garrett Castleberry, Associate Professor and Program Director of Communication, Media, and Ethics at Mid-America Christian University. I'm here with a digital lecture, hopefully the first of many that we refer to as our digital dialogue. And it's a dialogue because I'm not just lecturing content, not just reading from the book, rather I'm responding to student questions and engaging us in an asynchronous dialogue, meaning it's occurring across time and space, not in a singular point for any one of us, although it is happening at a single point for each of us. This response is for our COM 3533 course, Public Relations, Advertising, and Brand Management. And we're juggling several books in the course, including Arthur Asa Berger's Ads, Fads, and Consumer Culture, as well as Robin Blakeman's Integrated Marketing Communication. And we will tackle a few questions each week, depending on timely submissions, and so on. And so I have a handful of questions that I'm going to address for us. And the quicker we get to them, the more likely you listen to this video in full. So without further ado, I want to jump into a couple of questions from Avery. And one of the things I will do, in addition to responding to your questions, is we're looking for learning opportunities, all right? And when I say learning opportunities for feedback, opportunities for suggestions and ways that we can enhance the quality of our output so that we enhance the quality and rigor of our engagement. All right, and so let me jump into some questions here. Starting with, let's get point on point. Questions don't have a direct book reference, but it's something we can gain an advantage on as we move further in the course. First question asks, did the way that consumer products were advertised change the consumer culture we live in, or did our culture change the way things had to be advertised? A couple of follow-up questions. First, which reading are we sparking this conversational piece from? And more specifically, more helpful, what page is this drawing from to give us clear direction? Where's the author of this question coming from? Of course, my answer would be both, right? And another follow-up would be, for example, and I think this question and the next couple have something in common, and I think we can look at and then build upon. What an excellent learning lesson for all of us. So let me go ahead and read follow-up question. It's not a follow-up, it's question number 2. Is IMC, or Integrated Marketing Communication, an overall strategy when it comes to digital marketing and communications for a company or brand? Short answer, yes, it is absolutely a strategy. I mean, we can look at it as a noun and a verb. What other strategies are there that differ from IMC? Okay, so the Integrated Marketing Communications in reference to the book that we'll be reading in this course. It's a great book because various chapters cover different mediums, what we refer to as mass mediums of communication. This could be an excellent time to pause. I know we've got folks coming in from different majors at different points in programs, and so we can look at a communication basic right off the bat that's going to help orient us together, all right? And so that term would be mass medium, all right? A medium is a method of mass communication, meaning a tool with which mass communication travels from one sender or source to many, right? The recipients, the receivers, the audience, the consumer, possibly. And so a one-to-many form of communication is a form of mass communication. And then we also have terms like mediated or mass-mediated communication, okay? And we're not going to get into a bunch of, jargonistic acronyms, but we'll talk about, it's important to understand the variation between them. So if the question truly asks, what other strategies are there that differ from IMC, I would say traditional forms of advertising across other mediums. And those examples could include print advertising, right? One of our earliest forms, radio advertising, television advertising. And we can't understand each of these as distinct. In fact, each week in this course, in COM 3533, we look at a different medium. We will stress a different medium every week, and that's going to be a great way for us to learn how to distinguish between mass mediums of mediums of mass communication, rather. Okay, and so that's 2 questions. Let me read the third one, and then I'm going to draw a correlation between each of these first 3 questions. Do companies that use IMC really use the assorted media mix mentioned in the book? Pause. I'm not sure what the assorted mix is. I don't know what this is referring to. There's no page number, also no book, although I can assume it's from the IMC book. Or do they, companies, focus mainly on social media and the internet because there is such a large, that is where such a large audience is? And here is, now that I've read each of those first 3 questions, the pattern that I recognize. All right, and it's an organizational pattern. We can all take a gander here and consider this. Each of the first 3 questions are what we call an either or question. All right, they're positing that the responses to the question fall into either X or Y, when in fact there are additional ways we can consider. Certainly, what theorist, literary critic Kenneth Burke referred to as it's not an either or question, but a both and question. Oftentimes we find there is a both and response to many of our either or questions. So it's a way we can think about strategically what we're asking when. I love this learning lesson. Let's continue. Fourth question, what is the most common type of analysis when it comes to ads? Follow up. Or is it a combo of all of the ones mentioned in the book? Again, my follow-up and my immediate questions: which book, which methods are mentioned? Don't be afraid to share that, right? Let's jump into it. But point that out, be specific in our question asking, and then we can search for those rich and interesting and descriptive answers together. Let me hop to a different questionnaire here. We're going to look at a couple from Tyler. All right, numbered questions. The first one in the line: what do you think is the most important thing to brand advertising? Thing, that is an open-coded word. Thing, not as descriptive, I think, as it can be in order to force us, to push us in a specific direction, to be on the same page, understanding what we mean. So I'm just going to interpret what is being asked here by what the most important thing is to brand advertising. And I guess we could say, and I'm just spitballing here, right? A quality idea plus timing. Timing is everything. Plus funding. All right. You can't skimp on advertising. You ads don't resonate with a one and done strategy. And, the amount of times maybe that has happened and then a product's been successful or sustained is very few, far outnumbered. Okay, you have to have a plan. This is why one studies that. This is why one invests the time and energy to learn about ad strategies, ad campaigns, and so on. Is that ideally, as future marketers, as future content creators, we can help join that. Join the dialogue, right? Be innovators of thought. And ideally design and lead and collaborate on many successful campaigns. But the quality, the idea is necessary, right? The funding to put a plan in motion, to execute. The timing of it is often, brilliant ideas, brilliant products have hit the market before and quickly faded away. Maybe the timing was wrong, all right? So sometimes it's everything. Next question. Do you believe that the cost reward for newspaper advertising is worth it in today's culture? And I would say it depends on the product. It depends on the product. All advertising is a risk, right? But what we want to get into is the business of strategic risk, right? And risk management. Think about even, let's talk about something adjacent in the business world, Wall Street, right? Working with stocks, stock options, and so on. Wall Street, the financial industry is high in risk. Think about the way people get loans, whether it's for car loans, mortgage loans, and so on. Everything is about calculated risk, but we can learn how to make quality, educated, informed decisions to minimize the potential fallout, right, of those decisions, right? We want to hedge our bets, yeah. For someone who wants to promote a type of product, what product would be my immediate? What's an example? For someone who wants to promote a type of product, is it better to use traditional advertising methods or IMC? To which I would say, it depends. It always depends on what the product is, right? What the product is, who it's for, what the cost is, who can afford the cost. So there's these tiers of questions. And we're gonna get into all of that because these books are expertly written. They walk us through so many steps, and they're teaching us something. Yet another reason the readings do matter. I think there is absolutely this active myth in society. You can get into X number of courses, college or otherwise, and not follow through on the readings. And the reason for that, has stigma attached to it. Well, one of our foremost goals in the Common Media and Ethics program is we want to do away with the nonsense reads, the stuff that doesn't move us forward. And so we've selected readings that are really going to move the needle for you all. And this course is not an exception. It's one of the peak examples. So on top of that, this is talking about commercial advertising. This weekly exercise, these reading discussion questions are designed to move us forward. They're getting us excited and invested in the readings, giving us points to interrogate those readings. They're not gospel truth. These are perspectives. We're taking them in. We're chewing on it. We're digesting and conversing about it. Then you all are that much more capable of informed opinions and not just hot takes, right? And so on top of all of that, the weekly reading discussion questions, we get points for that, right? We're getting rewarded just for doing the basic things that are on any given syllabus. And show me the courses that reward you just for following through and engaging the readings. And those choices are going to be further and fewer between. And that's why we're giving you a superior product right here in the Common Media and Ethics program at MagU. With that said, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to shut her down. It's going to be a 2-segment week 1. So I'll be right back with more responses to your questions.